Good afternoon everyone, Ragewood here, back with a Dragonheir Silent God video. I have returned from my trip to Amsterdam. I went to MagicCon, had the absolute best weekend ever. Like, it's my first sort of event like that I've been to, and I had the best time. Definitely going to be going back to another one soon. Like to go to Vegas, but that's probably a bit too soon now. Anyway, enough of that. That's why there's been a bit of gap in the content that I do. As you can see, today we're running some meander. Now, meander has changed a little bit this season. Yeah, we've got a new moth boss, which I'm hoping to show you sort of today. Alright, but in the meantime, just going to walk through some of the levels together. Now, one thing I hate is we still have this, if you're in Season 2, 3 and 4, this walking around the map, clickety clickety click. It is very annoying and frustrating. The Season 1 changes that were made were brilliant, and I cannot wait for them to come back, so hopefully we don't have to wait too long for that to happen, although my guess is it's going to be Season 5 for me. And if it's Season 5 for me, chances are it's probably also going to be Season 5 for most of you, which is not ideal. But we digress. So what am I doing here? I'm not doing anything particularly special, truth be told. In essence, this is kind of like your setup needs to be sort of between Goblin and Dungeon runs, that kind of thing. So I've got my 2 damage dealers at the back here, I've got my tank, and I've got my sort of 2 supports, and that's about it. I'm just using what I have leveled currently. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 and a half level 90s. I've then also got 3 level 70s, and that's it. So just working with what's on my account at the moment in these early stages. However, later in the game, you'll have a lot more to choose from. Now, there is something to be said about waiting till later. You don't have to do meander now, or keep up with it daily if you don't want to. There is some merit to actually waiting. When you level 100, everything's going to be a lot easier. You're going to have better gear, again, which will make it a lot easier for you. For me, though, like I hate sort of the idea of grinding 180 floors within a couple of days. It's much more manageable for me to do a few floors at a time, which is why I'm sort of doing it now, at least trying to play catch up. I had 8 floors to do myself personally, so yeah, just working my way back through all of them now. And yeah, I can't remember which floor this bird boss or moth boss is going to be on. I know she was floor 5. I then had Cursed Ravatrix, the last one, so I'm hoping the next one's going to be the moth again. If not, then I'll just go back to if not, I suppose actually we'll sort of pause this video here and we'll return to it in a few days' time, when we can. But for the time being, just whilst we finish this floor out, just talking sort of about gear. I've just got him in some Ekbit pieces, essentially just defense. That's HP and defense. Blast jar just for some defense and a defense rune. These 2 are in damage builds, just with whatever gear that I had. This Matriarch's Gem is the single best artifact in S4 for most players. Poison Swamp is good, but not everyone has access to it. But yeah, that Matriarch's Gem, if you don't have it, definitely buy it. And Fenya just in 2 skill haste pieces. And Asteon is in some health and HP, because she heals based off her health. So 2 sets which provide HP, 1 providing skill haste. The aura is Enlightenment, which isn't really helping anyone but Fenya, but I don't have another aura, so that's the one that we're sticking with. Now, I am very much aware that my heroes are Inspired 3, and someone is even going through my videos and thumbs downing them out of spite, I believe. Or, people just think my content's that bad, and if that is the case, I do apologise. Do let me know what you'd like me to do to improve. But the reason, obviously, I'm using the heroes, I have 2 things. I've been playing since closed beta. I have a lot of heroes, and I can't help that. But secondly, I am in the most competitive server out there, and I want to compete. I need to compete. I'm not a free-to-play player. I do have a free-to-play account that I did for the first month, and I did do a couple of videos on that, so you go check that out if you want, so to speak. But yeah, and to compete, I need to use some of these heroes. But with that being said, if you're in your server, you're watching this a few years down the line, or even if you're watching it now and you're still in season 1, other people, most of them are going to have accounts similar to yours. So don't worry if you don't have 10 legendaries that I do, for example. Chances are most people in your server don't have 10 to 20 legendaries like I do. So just bear that in mind. Take it with a pinch of salt. So yeah, gonna pause this here, and hopefully when I reach floor 30 we'll come back and we'll have a moth boss to show you. Hello, so you are joining us actually a few days later after the initial recording, because we didn't have the new moth boss. We had Ravatrix Reborn, then Ravatrix, then Spider. So we are now on floor 50, where we finally come to our new boss this season, Moth Boss. Very scary looking. Now, she was kind of hard to... I say she was hard to defeat. It was hard to know what you're actually doing on the test server, because we had the whole bug with shields not being removed, or at least not visually being removed, even though they were, sort of thing. So, we'll take a look at what she does. So she has a passive, and she's Radiant Vulnerability. So, she takes 10% more damage from Radiant heroes. So, bring your allies, even, potentially your aura heroes. Maybe that was the whole idea behind this. Rally heroes, thumbs up. Upon losing 20% of her max HP, she summons 2 scaly cocoons at random locations. She gains a shield and defense up for 8 seconds to spin a cocoon for herself. In this period, stop recharging energy and deals necrotic damage to all enemies every second. When she finishes with the cocoon period, she deals damage to all enemies, and by this time, she still possesses a shield or defense up, gains an undispellable attack up, and heals herself. So, we need shield dispel, and we need buff removal. Now, I have Victor, who will perform this role very well for me. You could also bring Ladia, you could bring Brody, or you can just straight up, smash face on the damage and just bring just the buff removal. Something to bear in mind, like all bosses, immune to control. First ability, she summons more cocoons at the location with the most enemies standing. After 5 seconds, if the cocoons are alive, they hatch into phantoms and dealing necrotic damage with 100% to inflict charmed. Control immunity then will be obviously a key here. Someone like Philosia Stangwem for that ability, or again, just make sure they die. Second ability grants Shroud of Light. What's Shroud of Light? When taking damage, there's a chance to reduce the damage taken and then do damage back to you. Also extends the duration of it. If the monster possesses this upon taking damage, there is a 20% chance to reduce the current damage taken by 50%. Extends it for a second. The third ability is the weirdest targeting ever, kind of like Rook's battle skill, where she's going to target the third row away from her. So obviously make sure there's no one stood there. But she summons a large swarm of moths and inflicting stunned. And then the ultimate deals necrotic damage with 100% to inflict silence and blind. So once again, just make sure you've got your control immunity. Now this early on, we're going to be able just to smash through this, or at least we're going to try to. But as you move into the higher levels, potentially something you're going to want to actually sort of build around, as it were. All right, so we're going to jump into the fight. Here we go. Oh, accidentally pushed stop record, so you're joining us literally a few seconds into the fight at the top here. There we are. As you can see, absolutely smashed it. Nothing particularly hard there. But, say, it will get more difficult going up. You probably are going to need your rally heroes, and I think they've put that in to entice people to use Aura. Aura, the whole thing is max HP, and there isn't really too much in the game where that's going to be useful. Nothing really has massive HP pools except for the top end of meander, where you've got sort of inflated HP pools on the mobs. So I do think that is a sort of nod to start using your Aura heroes. There we are, guys. That is a quick run through of meander and sort of talking about the new boss skills. Hopefully you found this insightful. As we progress higher, I will probably do a more in-depth one of, I'm bringing this person for X reason rather than just smash face. But all the time it's lower level. That is the way to go. So look after yourselves, take it easy, work hard, but as always, play harder. And I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.